So I'm pretty sure by now, the vast majority of people have seen what happened to Dave Chappelle not too long ago. And if you haven't, I'll show it to you now.
History.
Overnight, superstar comedian Dave Chappelle tackled on stage in the middle of a performance at the Hollywood Bowl.
One of Highland Avenue at the Hollywood Bowl. Suspect was armed with a gun and a knife. Standby for additional.
Subject said no black, 85 years, wearing a black hat, blue flannel, gray pants.
History.
According to the LAPD, the assailant, who was in the audience, carried a knife that looked like a gun, climbed onto the stage and attacked Chappelle in the middle of his set. The man then ran behind a screen on stage. Chappelle reported to the audience the man was being stomped. The suspect was immediately detained by the venue's security team and later taken to the hospital with superficial injuries.
So I've always said that even if I had private security, I would still carry a firearm. As you can see in this video, it took, and I counted, it was about 5 seconds from the point when the guy made contact with Dave Chappelle and to the point when the security was able to reach Dave Chappelle and pull the guy off of him. About 5 seconds. At that point, Dave Chappelle's security team was not the first responders. You know who was? Dave Chappelle. It's no different than everybody else out here. You are your own first responder. You can't rely on anyone else but yourself. Yes, you can get private security to act as a supplemental force to help you in the event something goes wrong. That's kind of how I believe people should approach the police. If someone breaks into your house right now, are the police going to be there immediately? Or are you going to have to call them, wait for them to get there, and then in the meantime, deal with somebody who's already there attacking you? That's kind of how life works. And I think people have this false misconception, about how the police work in terms of keeping you safe or in terms of how the government keeps you safe. Of course, the government's going to say this idea that, oh, we'll keep you safe. We'll get these gun control laws and we'll get these other laws and then we'll have the police and you can call them. And that's bullshit. They know it's bullshit too. That's why the vast majority of them run around with private security themselves. And even then, I'm pretty sure a vast majority of them also carry firearms, quiet as kept. That's the beautiful thing about social media. It's the beautiful thing about cameras on all the phones and so forth and so on. Now we see it. We get to see it in 4K. See, before we read headlines and, maybe see it on the news a little bit, but you can still kind of disassociate yourself from those things and say, oh, it won't happen to me. It'll never happen to me. But now you're going to hit time after time after time after time after time, story after story after story after story, video. You're seeing this stuff live in 4K. So you understand what reality looks like. But then the beautiful thing about it too is now you get to understand how you get to see the dynamics of these types of situations so you can better prepare for it. What is the popular saying? Those who fail to plan to fail. And that's, to me, what a firearm is. That's what exercising your Second Amendment is. It's nothing more than preparation. That's all you're doing. You're just preparing yourself so that while you go about your life as normal, if something comes up and your life becomes in danger, you can do something about it immediately. Not in a couple minutes, not in a few seconds longer than you need it to be, immediately. And that's the thing that I picked up from watching this video. It's a perfect example of why you cannot put your entire safety and trust in the government to keep you safe. You can't. Dave Chappelle was on stage surrounded by security and the guy still was able to take a knife and charge him. Come on, in a building where they have metal detectors. Hell, that's why I go to places sometimes and I see people get searched and I'm like, that doesn't make me feel that much better. Because I understand that, sometimes they let their homeboys in with guns. Sometimes people hide things in places that don't get checked. Then you have those skittish kind of security guards who don't necessarily want to touch people in too many places. So they won't touch the very places where I know people carry guns. I see it happen all the time. And that's just it. In a moment, the enemy, danger, whatever you want to call it, criminals, they can show up and wreak havoc on your life in that moment. Hell, a guy just pulled a gun on Mike Tyson not too long ago. Out of nowhere. So take examples like this and don't disassociate yourself from them. Don't look at them and say, oh, well, now that's Dave Chappelle. That's, he's famous. And, the guy probably was a copycat and wanted to do something similar to what Will Smith did. And those things all might be true. But it is a prime example of why you should own a firearm and be prepared to protect yourself. Because Dave Chappelle, who was surrounded by security guards, guy still was able to get up, climb up on stage, charge Dave Chappelle, and had 5 seconds to do what he did. Now, for whatever reason, Dave Chappelle got away unscathed. And I'm glad, because I love Dave Chappelle. It's freaking awesome. But we've got to use these examples and understand that in reality, the only person who's responsible for your safety is you. The only person who is a first responder when it comes to your safety is you. No one else. And hence, that's why I have the I'm the Militia shirt, of course. Because it is a reminder, it is a stark reminder that at the end of the day, the responsibility is on you. Whether you want the responsibility or not, it's on you. I saw the clip. I thought, you know what? This is a beautiful, beautiful example of how, one, your safety is kind of an illusion, but then also a perfect example of why you can't put your trust in the government to keep you safe from criminals or the police. Because as well-intended as the police may be, as well-intended as Dave Chappelle's security guards. And here's the crazy thing. His security guards actually did a damn good job. They were fast. But if the guy was really intent on stabbing Dave Chappelle and possibly didn't slip or whatever the case may be, we probably would be having a very different discussion right now. You know, we talk a lot about empowerment in this country, except for when it comes to the Second Amendment. However, I can't think of anything more empowering than having the most effective tool to protect you and your family. So help me spread this message by liking and sharing this video with everyone you know. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because the Second Amendment, when it said militia, it wasn't talking about the government. It was talking about you. Also, if you want to know where to find the I'm the Militia shirt and merchandise, click the I'm the Militia link in the description section of this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, make sure you hit that bell symbol.